There's less than a fortnight to go for the IPL to begin, and I thought I'll talk about the biosecure bubble that is going to be in place in the UAE for the different teams, and this becomes terribly important in the light of what we've seen over the past 8-10 days. Two players from CSK tested positive, that is Deepak Chahar and Rituraj Gaikwad, apart from 11 other people from the support staff, management whatsoever. And then of course there's been this news coming around of an assistant coach of Delhi Capitals also testing positive. So this has become very, very important, needless to say, because it's a complex environment. It's unlike a bilateral series being played between England and Australia, for instance, or England and Pakistan, where there are fewer people to manage, and the biosecure bubble therefore becomes that much more robust or reliable. Here it's more intricate, and it can just bring the whole system crashing down if not enough precaution is taken. The health protocol and the logistical protocol both need to be running concurrently. 8 teams in the tournament, and each will be in a biosecure bubble of their own. They'll be in different hotels, and therefore it's a study in contrast with what is happening in the CPL. So let me just list out a few things that are going to happen here. The BCCI guidelines, as I mentioned, that each biosecure bubble will be distinct for each franchise, and that includes things like testing, health passport, very crucial because testing will be done regularly, and contact tracing in case something happens. How do you do contact tracing? And that's become part of the job of the franchise now once you get into the biosecure bubble. Each bubble will also have its own exclusive testing room. They had to self-isolate themselves and undergo 3 separate tests. Now, this is what happened with CSK, for instance. I might just kind of refresh your memory that at the time of the 3rd test, these 13 people tested positive. So the first 2 tests were, they were fine. Then they tested positive. So, because the quarantine protocol in the UAE was 1 week, but after you test positive, then it becomes a 2-week self-isolation process. So that's been the hardship for CSK as yet. And then of course you have to go through you have to come up with 3 negative tests to be kind of reintroduced back into the biosecure bubble and with your other teammates. No team members are allowed to train outside their rooms or their own secure bubble prior to this procedure. That means that players from Rajasthan Royals and Kings 11 Punjab and Mumbai Indians, they cannot even meet each other. That's how stringent it has been, and it's very important that it is this stringent. Now, when the teams will travel within the UAE, so the bubble in a sense moves with them, and the hotels have been identified. Even things like room service and who you come and can you meet anybody from the outside world? No. And there's a series of technological or technical gadgets involved, which is not just about oximeter and temperature taking and stuff like that. There's a hardware locator devices, and each of these locations is divided into zones which are mapped properly, etc., etc. It's a little too, even for me, I mean, it's the complexities, the technological complexities are such that even I am struggling to completely comprehend what the picture is. But what I do know is that each zone, therefore, will be very seriously and very stringently managed to ensure the smooth conduct of the IPL. As I mentioned earlier, that one error could bring calamity. It could just bring the whole process down. However, having seen how successful the biosecure bubble has been in England in the 3 series that they played against West Indies, Pakistan, now Australia, and the fact that there's been no alarm at all in the West Indies where the Caribbean Premier League was played, there is enough reason to believe that if things are done sensibly and nobody gets a sense of misplaced adventure, it can work out.